Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Module 4. This is your brother, Coach Zubair. In this module, we'll be talking about what you can do or what you should do in your first meeting, your first initiation with the converts. This module is all about first meeting and initiation of the relationship. So this is how it will start. You might see someone taking a shahada in your masjid and so on and so forth, or someone may forward you a contact, or you may see someone who potentially may be interested and you will approach them introducing yourself and the program and the services that are offered by your convert mentoring or convert coaching team. So the question that I would like you to do now is basically pause the video and think about what are some of the things that you think you want to talk about in the first meeting, or what do you think happens in the first meeting? What do you think the convert would find most value from within the first meeting? If you only had 20 minutes or 30 minutes, what would you talk about? So please go ahead, actually pause the video, pause the module, and think about it. Write it down on a piece of paper, because when I share with you some of my experience, I think it will be much more valuable and beneficial if you have already thought about those things. And perhaps you may come up with something that you think that should be part of the training, that should be an important thing that should be mentioned in the first meeting, and I would love to hear your ideas. So go ahead, pause, think, capture, and then continue playing the video. Okay, so what I would say is, like, introduce yourself, like, who you are, what you're about, why are you into this sort of thing, what are you trying to get out of that. So make the person comfortable, get to know them as much as they're comfortable about telling you about themselves, like why did they choose Islam, things like that. So that will be helpful for you to understand what their motivations are. After that, I would probably work more on their mindset, on their worldview, on what is Islam, why it's important for them to be practicing or learning about Islam and moving forward on that path of Islam. So I want to visit the shahada back, like what is shahada? So when they said that, okay, I agree and I accept and I testify and I'm confident in my faith that there is no one worthy of worship. What does that mean? That means that, look, my utmost love and submission belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one who is full worthy of me trying to actually please someone, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, whether I'm doing it or not, that's a different thing, but that's what I agree and what I understand is that Allah is the one who I should be, trying to please, trying to submit, trying to obey the most. And the way I obey and the way I do that is by following the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the final messenger and what he has come down. So if I think, okay, I want to please Allah and I can't come up with my own ideas, that, okay, you know what, if I just do a yoga exercise, that's pleasing to Allah, right? No. So the way I will be pleasing to Allah is if I were to perform the 5 daily prayers, for example, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has taught me. So you do want to visit that concept, that, look, what you have now found is the path to paradise, the path to the love of Allah. You found a way to know about your Creator. You found a way to know about what your Creator likes and what your Creator does not like. But just because you know that does not mean that you will now achieve that. So for example, if you're on example, I think we mentioned that earlier, is that if you want to go to a vacation spot, you want to go to paradise, you want to go to Niagara Falls or Six Flags or what have you, and you understand what's there and you know the map on your phone, right? But if you don't travel on that highway, if you're not consistent on your journey, and if you keep taking exits and being distracted, you won't get to your destination. So that sort of clarity is super important for the person, because a lot of time we just skip that and we just talk about sins being forgiven and welcome, and that's it, right? And then we're not really helping them walk away with the truth. So as I would do that, then I would start switching to an analogy model. And I would say, okay, look, now I have these 3 types of analogies here. And I would say, okay, look, if someone wanted to work on their body, right? So you're trying to work on your body, your strength, your muscle, your conditioning, wanting to have more energy in your body, okay? And they realize that, look, I need to change my diet and I need to change my workout habits. So they've realized that that's their goal. They understand that they can achieve it. They understand how they can achieve more energy, how they can be more productive, more energetic, and so on and so forth. Now, for them to make it easier for themselves to be able to succeed on that track, on that resolution that they may have met at the beginning of the year. What is it that they need to do? Ask them, let them interact with you. Okay, keep asking them. Now you can drive that discussion, and you will see that the person will come up with, okay, you know what, I need to have goals. I need to join a gym, or maybe get a trainer, a mentor, a coach, a personal trainer. Then you further drill down. Okay, I need to hang out with people who have similar goals. If you want to be eating healthy, it won't help you if you are hanging out with people who are always about chips and cookies and ice creams and cakes and burgers and pizzas, right? You have to hang out with people who are like-minded. And then having your basic goals and being consistent about it, and then or moving forward, measuring your goals. If you fall short, then you lifting yourself up and moving forward. Another example would be that, look, you may have an amazing smartphone, right? But if you don't keep charging it, it won't be functional. Like, you need to feed the phone the charge. You need to feed your body good nutrients for you to be able to function and grow your body. Likewise, just because now you've realized the path for your soul, you've realized the health for your soul, it will not automatically come in. You have to keep recharging your phone. You have to keep fueling your phone with your soul with content that is beneficial for the soul. A similar example you can use for someone who is committed to career success or business success, right? That person will say, okay, mentor, personal trainer, business coach. They would say, good company, feeding good content, positive content, and so on and so forth. So now, once they've understood that, and look, it's kind of similar when you talk about your relationship with Allah, when you talk about building your soul, when you talk about strengthening your soul, the same things that you would do or adopt in any of these other areas, they would also be applicable to when you are trying to develop your soul and your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So moving on, another two things that you can use is that, look, loving Allah. If a lot of people say, okay, I love Allah, I love God, I want to do what is good. But then if you truly love Allah, if you truly want to do good, you will do what Allah loves. So you have to start by learning what Allah loves and then doing it, and making it easier for you to do what Allah loves. Likewise, just knowledge is not enough. A lot of doctors, they know that smoking is bad. A lot of regular people know that smoking is bad and it kills and so on and so forth, but they still smoke. So the beneficial knowledge is what you actually implement, or you try to implement, and so on and so forth. I would also at this time get into the story of Adam alayhi salam, and that's something that we do in dawah as well when we're talking to non-Muslim. That, look, Allah has made a lot of things permissible for us, okay? And Allah has given us free will, and Allah has given us ability. Now the test happens when you have the knowledge of what Allah likes and what Allah does not like, and you have the ability to disobey Allah. You have the ability to disobey Allah, and you stay away. That's when human beings become praiseworthy. That, look, he or she had the ability, but they trusted in Allah and they did not do what Allah disliked, and they did what Allah liked. That's how you purify your character. That's how you show your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what will shaitan do is shaitan will take your attention away from everything that's halal and permissible, and help, keep making you focus on 1 or 2 or 10 things that are haram, that are impermissible. Okay, and that's what he does. And he would make false promises that, look, if you do this, you'll become successful, you'll have more money, you'll have more power, and then you can repent. And then, he made these false promises to our father and our mother, Adam, and his wife, Hawa alayhi salam as well. So that's something that he will keep doing. So the mindset is that, look, we are here to purify ourselves, to show that we love Allah, to show that we are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we can go back into paradise and stay in there forever. That's an amazing vacation where you have health, right? So it's not the retirement of this dunya when you're 60 or 60 plus. It's an amazing thing when you have full health. You can enjoy everything. You don't have to work. You don't have to pay taxes. But for you to get there, you need to have a certain character. You need to have a certain love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this way, when you're talking about the mindset, you would say, look, based on our discussion, the best thing that I can advise you is, as first, look and appreciate the gift that Allah has given you. How many people are out there that have no inclination toward Islam? And what were the chances, statistically speaking, that you would get into Islam with all the Islamophobia and everyone else around you? So it's a gift that Allah has given you. So continue asking that Allah, that one that has given you this gift, to assist you in strengthening that faith. So don't give that up. Continue doing that. Try to figure out how you can have more and more righteous company. And when you go out from this masjid, from this mosque, from this center, most people will not talk to you about God and the love of God and what will get you the love of God. They will talk to you about products, TV shows, sports, vacation, things that they want to sell you, services that they want to sell you. So you have to be aware of that, and you have to find content, and we'll suggest you content that will help you strengthen your soul and strengthen your relationship with Allah. And you have to go and get that content, because people usually will not give that to you. They have other things that they want to talk about. And then to have some sort of a plan. So let's have some sort of a plan that when would you come back to the masjid? Do you want to come back tomorrow? Do you have time right now? Do you want to meet once a week, twice a week, thrice a week? Let them know some of the classes that are happening in the masjid, some of the volunteering activities that are happening in the masjid, so they can then, choose. And then be clear that, look, this relationship that we have is a brotherly or sisterly relationship, but we are also focused on developing our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we will set some goals, and we will focus on our growth in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So within that first meeting, some of the things that I would do is I would get them Muslim Pro. Okay, that's an amazing app. They can use that for salah times. They can also use that to see, daily dua, daily verses. I would probably download the translation on their phone as well. I will show them, how to use that app, how to listen to Quran from there, and the daily du'as and so on and so forth. A lot of people who, even though they don't come to the masjid, they keep using these apps. So it's important to equip them. So look, I'm not talking about how to make wudu, how to make salah in the first meeting, because from the experience I've realized that a lot of people don't even come after first meeting. And they need to strengthen their faith. So use their phones and their surrounding to make it easy for them to strengthen their faith. I would also, with their permission, go on YouTube and subscribe them to these channels that you see on the screen. And the reason being that these are, basic channels with basic things about Islam. They're not, deeper academic concepts, but basic things that would help them, get into Islam. Sometimes I would get Praise Space on their phone, but I don't think Praise Space exists on Android anymore. But regardless of that, so I don't know what's a good app on Android at the moment. I would also subscribe them to New Muslim Academy, from their email, as well as their Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, because they see a lot of good content daily, which is very directed towards new Muslims. And then I would have some sort of an agreement and a schedule for, for future meetups and what kind of activities they would like to participate in. So after that, I would then, go in and, give them some caveats. And I would say, look, you are becoming a Muslim, you're accepting Islam. This does not mean that you have to defend and justify the actions of Muslim all around the globe, or all around Toronto, or all around Chicago, or all around, UK. You can't do that, because not everyone is following Islam to the dot. And people do things that are, based off because of other reasons, because of political reasons, because of their personal reasons, and so on and so forth. And you may find some Muslims in the masjid, in the community, that you may not agree with. And that's okay, as long as they are healthy. You don't have to keep justifying and keep changing everyone to fit your mindset, or to change your mindset to fit everyone's mindset. It's okay for you to be different and to be unique in your own personality. Likewise, you don't carry the burden of justifying the actions of all Muslims across the globe. Another thing that I would say, that look, in general, we encourage our community members to not come to a newcomer and start correcting him or her. And we tell them to connect them with the coaches, with the mentors. But sometimes people, out of their love and concern, may come to you and say, hey, you made this mistake and this and that. And they're doing that not to judge you, not to put you down, not to show off, but usually because they want good for you. So in that scenario, you can tell them, look, you know what, I'm new and I'm working on this, and I have a mentor, I have a teacher. Thank you for your concern. Okay, and then you can be assertive in this manner if they come and say, okay, you made this mistake, or your hijab, or this and that. So you can empower them preemptively of this situation. Now, some of the common issues that happen, so you can make a judgment if you want to make them aware of it in the first meeting or not. is to realize that, look, you don't have to, as I said, don't have to agree with everyone, don't have to please everyone. You don't have to change other people to, meet your agenda. For you, maybe, for example, very concerned about a certain political or society cause or social cause of, let's say, poverty and homelessness or whatever. But that does not mean that every Muslim will get on that cause, right? People have their own challenges. So being aware of that is important. Likewise, don't get overwhelmed, right? So don't get into the mindset of, okay, I will do it all or I will do nothing. I will pray all 5 prayers or I will pray nothing. So you are the judge, right? Just like how you would do when you're trying to transform your body, not everyone can start like working out 60 minutes every day and, quitting all the carbs and so on and so forth. So everybody has to find their sweet spot and keep growing from that sweet spot. So appreciate that you're better than yesterday and keep growing, keep getting better and better, but don't get overwhelmed. Obviously, if they are bothered by the community or if anything about Islam is bothering them or anything, have that relationship that they share with you. If they share something with you, don't brush them off. Don't say, oh, don't worry about it, it's trivial. Show empathy, show that, yeah, it is a big deal. You can understand what's going on. And then you can tap into your network of coaches and mentors and then see what solutions we can offer them. And again, suggest them some solutions and then keep checking in and see if that problem has been resolved. Again, you're suggesting them ideas, and we'll talk about that in future modules. You're not making decisions for them. So one of the action items is that, look, in this YouTube playlist, I have recorded my first conversation with converts. Okay, so this is something good, and I think there are 1 or 2 lectures as well that are like, like a direct lecture or webinar towards converts on, these things that we have talked about. So, set some time aside and go through them, because that will help you prepare and practice your own pitch for the first meeting. And that's important. Again, you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So work hard, do your best, prepare yourself. Now, some of the things, if you want to use, look, and this is something you may have to keep using it again and again with them. And that is, look, why are we here? Why are we here? So our main purpose is not to get like, as much money as I can. It's not for me to retire tomorrow or retire in 5 years. That's not it. The reason I'm here is to develop myself, to cleanse myself, and to show with my actions, and to develop my love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that, I consider this world as a transit, as if I am on transit. Right? So I'm on an airport, like a big, massive, gigantic airport. I can do a lot of different things here. I can do business. I can go to school. I can have a lot of relationships, so on and so forth. But I'm waiting for my departure flight. I don't know when my flight will be ready, but I'm just like hanging out here. And my flight can be ready anytime. And that flight is your death. So when that happens, you transition from this life to the life of grave. Okay? And your life of grave, the quality of your life. Remember, there's no Wi-Fi in the grave. There's no internet. There's no fun. There's no books. There's no friends. But if you are good, then your time in the grave will be business class. If not, then you can have a miserable life in the grave. And then finally, you can hang out and chill out in paradise with youth, with health, with everything that you like, or you can be away from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's our worldview, right? So as we are concerned about our retirement, our studies, our job, our businesses, we need to be concerned about our state of this world and where we will go once we leave this world. Another way of thinking about it is that, every day, every hour is an opportunity for me to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get, more and more love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that happens by me doing things that Allah has made obligatory on me, such as my 5 daily prayers, my 5 daily meetings. And remember, all these things, you may not be able to do it in your first meeting, but this is something good to keep in your mind, and you might be doing it in your second or third meeting. And then as you do more and more good things, and that could be, taking care of your family, shopping for your family, taking your family out, smiling at people, giving good advice to people, so on and so forth. All these things keep getting you closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until Allah loves you and you become a close friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have the notion of, paradise and hellfire and, grave life. And you also have this notion of love and emotions, where you're talking about the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here's a document. in which I have some scripts, some bullet points on how you can have your first meeting. And this is again the list of my first meeting recordings with the converts for those of them that allowed me to record. So use that to develop your own thing. Practice it with a friend, practice it in front of a mirror, be comfortable, and then keep doing it. And then you'll see that how you can use that. So you may see someone who's not practicing, new Muslim, a renewed Muslim, say, hey, you know what, we have this program where we help people develop the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with small goals, consistent effort without judging them, in an environment that, is non-judgmental and friendly. So would you be interested in that sort of offering? You can have that sort of discussion with other people who are not necessarily new Muslims, but renewed Muslim, new youth who want a fresh start in Islam as well, can be given this thing. New faces that you see in the masjid in Ramadan can be given this thing as well. So my question to you is, what is your one key takeaway from today? Give it a thought. Don't rush through it. Give it a thought. So yeah, that's it for us for this thing. And again, these are resources that we have talked about earlier. So I'll see you in the next module. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.